Today is an important day for the Kosovo Specialist Chambers and Specialist Prosecutor's Office. The Specialist Chambers of the Constitutional Court determined, in a decision delivered by the presiding judge, that the rules of procedure and evidence comply with the Kosovo Constitution and international human rights standards. This decision is important for our institution in many respects. First, the decision of the Specialist Chambers of the Constitutional Court guarantees that the rules embrace the high standards of human rights. Second, with the adoption of the rules of procedure and evidence, the Specialist Chambers also ensure a robust system for the protection of individuals who may be at risk on account of their participation in the proceedings before the Specialist Chambers. Lastly, after the entry into force of the rules, within 7 days as of today, there will be no legal impediment to receive any filing or indictment from the Specialist Prosecutor's Office. The decision rendered today is the latest of a number of steps taken in less than 6 months, leading up to where we stand now, which I will briefly summarize. I assumed my duties as President of the Specialist Chambers on 12 January 2017 and immediately engaged with the preparation of a set of legal documents to be considered and adopted by the judges in plenary. On 7 February, following a comprehensive vetting process of the competencies and experience of each candidate, judges were selected and placed on the roster of international judges, as the law on the Specialist Chambers and Specialist Prosecutor's Office requires. In less than 5 weeks, and after an extraordinary and coordinated effort and exchange of views amongst judges, the Kosovo Specialist Chambers held a plenary of only 4 days, in which efficiently and expeditiously the package of 3 legal documents was discussed and adopted on 17 March. And these are the rules on assignment of judges to specific proceedings, the Code of Judicial Ethics, setting up the ethical standards and disciplinary procedures for judges in cases of misconduct, and lastly, the rules of procedure and evidence. The rules on assignment of judges to specific proceedings and the Code of Judicial Ethics immediately entered into force. The rules of procedure and evidence were referred for a review by the end of March to the Specialist Chamber of the Constitutional Court, as Article 19, Paragraph 5 of the law dictates. The Specialist Chamber of the Constitutional Court issued its first judgment on 26 of April this year, determining that only 9 out of 208 rules were not fully compliant with the Kosovo Constitution. I promptly convened a second plenary of judges to consider and eventually adopt a draft of the revised rules. The plenary was held remotely, and the adopted rules were referred again to the Specialist Chamber of the Constitutional Court on 31st of May. Today, the 28th of June, the judges of the Specialist Chamber of the Constitutional Court issued their decision whereby they found that rules 19, 30 to 39, 41, 57, 137, and 161 are not inconsistent with the Kosovo Constitution. As a result, the entirety of the rules of procedure and evidence, as adopted and amended by the plenary of judges, comply with Chapter 2 of the Kosovo Constitution. With the entry into force of the rules of procedure and evidence, our institution is fully judicially operational and ready to start proceedings. Meanwhile, the specialist chambers are preparing the adoption of numerous internal legal documents which will enhance the efficiency of our institution. In conclusion, I want to thank all judges of the Kosovo Specialist Chambers for their outstanding commitment, efforts, and professionalism during the past months in drafting, amending, reviewing, and confirming the normative documents vital for our institution. Now, we, the judges of the specialist chambers, are ready to perform our judicial duties independently, impartially, and conscientiously, as our solemn declaration requires.